ever wonder what it takes to appeal to the LinkedIn algorithm? Well, after growing my following to 50,000 plus and navigating through countless algorithm changes, I've come up with a LinkedIn-backed approach to help you blow up your following. So in this video, I will reveal 5 algorithm hacks that are easy to implement and how you can use them to double your following by the next month. But first, we need to understand how LinkedIn actually works. Because if you don't, you will end up falling into the same trap that keeps everyone else stuck. Well, LinkedIn runs 3 main tests before actually rewarding you with a bunch of impressions. So let's talk about the first test. So every time you post on LinkedIn, the algorithm triggers spam filters to ensure your post meets all the guidelines. This is called the spam test. If your post is compliant, it will then be primarily shown to first-degree connections. These are the folks that have connected with you and are part of your network. And this is the second test, your network test. Obviously, LinkedIn assumes that first-degree connections are the perfect audience to show your post first and to see how much your own audience actually is engaging with it. And so, based on the results of this second test, LinkedIn will then decide if it will push your LinkedIn post further to second and third degree connections. And this is the third, out-of-network test. And so if your post keeps performing even with audiences that are colder, it will keep pushing your post further and further. Well, this is in theory how the algorithm works. Now, how do you go about using this knowledge to actually creating content that reaches your ideal audience and still drives revenue for your business? Well, that's what I spent weeks on to actually figure out what the proper LinkedIn sources actually tell us about the algorithm. And so this first algorithm hack is going to show you how to get predictable impressions. Have you ever found yourself staring at a great LinkedIn post, even screenshotting it, even resending it to someone, without actually engaging with the post? Well, according to LinkedIn, about 25% of LinkedIn users are what they call passive feed users. This group does not engage with content at all. They don't like, they don't comment, and they don't share posts. And yet, they spend time on the platform. They see the content and they probably screenshot it. They just don't do it publicly. So if these are important users, LinkedIn had to find a way to account for these hidden signals. And so they came up with the algorithm factor called dwell time. It literally takes into account the time people spend looking at your post, even if they don't engage with it. So how do you go about creating content that maximizes dwell time so you can get more impressions? This is where creating content that feels like a mini masterclass is key. This is a piece of content that is so good that people will save and they will tend to come back to, and they can't help but keep staring at it. And to create this sort of content, you need to tap into your insights and expertise. So you can literally package your entire insights into a carousel. This is a great way to build a mini masterclass because people tend to scroll through these carousels and spend more time dwelling on your post, which the LinkedIn algorithm absolutely loves. But even though dwell time is a key ranking factor, that doesn't mean LinkedIn doesn't look into other things. But before showing you what these things are, I need to show you what not to do. Some people started rigging the LinkedIn algorithm with engaging pods and bots to fake engagement. Now, I get the short-term attractiveness of these things, but it is not worth it because the LinkedIn algorithm is not sleeping on these practices. And so they introduced meaningful comments. This means that LinkedIn wants to see engagement in your posts, but they want to see high quality engagement. So how can you increase the quality of engagement so you can then be rewarded with more traction from the algorithm? Well, the secret for getting more engagement is to either resonate deeply with your audience or to be somehow controversial in a way that makes people want to react publicly to what you just said. And it's not hard, because to resonate deeply, you need to start with proper audience research and find key topics that your audience tends to agree with. And of course, that they align with your expertise and your niche. Now, to introduce controversy effectively, you still need to get to know your audience and your industry, because this will help you find those key topics where your audience tends to have very different opinions on. So the easiest way to resonate or build controversy with your audience and obviously get a higher level of engagement is to prove a point with strong statements, visual information, and of course, hooks that tend to get their attention as fast as possible. And once you start getting these high quality comments, make sure you are responding to each one of them, because this will give you more traction. But is it enough to rely on the comments of other people if you want to reach thousands and thousands of people? Well, this next LinkedIn hack will show you what you have to do next. I found that the LinkedIn algorithm rewards posts like this, and this, with greater reach and visibility. This should not come as a surprise. After all, LinkedIn has been very explicit recently, mentioning that knowledge sharing is one of the key factors for promoting your content further. They simply love it when you drop valuable content bombs that both of those inside your network and outside of it can learn from. But how do you take this notion of knowledge sharing and turn it into a post that performs really well? Well, let me show you. You want to get into the mindset of creating the ultimate resource in your niche, because you will hit the 3 most important algorithm factors. First, you will hit dwell time, because people will stay longer staring at a high quality post. Second, you will hit on engagement, as people love to engage with content where they see a lot of value. And finally, you will hit on knowledge sharing, as you are showing this is a killer resource you've put together. So when you combine these 3 things, you can expect the LinkedIn algorithm to start favoring your content. Plus, you are creating a resource that is so valuable that you will be attracting your ideal buyers and helping them move forward with you and do business with you. But there is something that can completely undermine what we have just talked about and reduce completely the reach of your posts. Let's say you have just changed jobs and you decided to use LinkedIn to share this transition and to thank your old colleagues for everything they've done for you. Who do you think will find this post more interesting? Your friends from college? Or 2, a random dude who has never heard of you before? Exactly. People outside of your network are hardly interested in a job change. So that means LinkedIn is way less likely to push these posts to people outside of your network, even if you actually have a lot of dwell time and engagement. This is essential to understand the LinkedIn algorithm. If you want your content to be pushed outside of your existing audience on LinkedIn, you need to actually make it valuable for those people who do not know who you are and they've never seen anything coming from you. But how do you make it appealing for those who are not familiar with you? Well, let me show you 3 things you need to do to get this outcome. So instead of focusing solely on personal stuff and things that would only interest people who know you, you need to frame your lessons and your expertise in a way that offers value to other people. So even if you're posting about a job change, you could share lessons learned or industry insights. Essentially, you want to think about offering broader value. Second, instead of simply stating facts or talking about your experiences, you want to illustrate them with real examples, with data, or stories that others could relate to. This is about showing and not telling. And third, you want to focus on providing concrete, actionable advice that people can immediately apply. So instead of just sharing a story or an experience, you could actually break down the exact steps that others can follow so they can, get around similar situations with more success. This is about sharing highly actionable takeaways. So rather than just posting content for those who know you, you need to assume most people have never heard of you. But what if you have a small following in the first place? Is there any algorithm hack to get you more impressions and grow your following faster? I've got great news. LinkedIn has rolled out a new update that is a complete game changer for those with a smaller audience. And surprisingly, I don't see anyone talking about this. Well, LinkedIn has noticed that a growing number of users is using the search bar to find relevant content. And so they are invested in, when you search for something, getting exactly your intent fulfilled with the content that matches your main goal. So if you're using the search bar and writing Series A tips, LinkedIn wants to show you the best content that has those Series A tips. And so you now have a chance to rank high on LinkedIn searches. Your content just needs to rank high on what they call on-topic rate. So the engineers behind LinkedIn are using ChatGPT to assign each post a label of 1 if it is a well-written post and actually answers the query of the user, and 0 if otherwise. This is basically the baseline for determining which posts are actually on topic. And so this update basically transforms LinkedIn into a very powerful search engine, which gives you the opportunity to position your content right when your ideal clients are searching for it. A great way to know exactly what your ideal buyers are searching for is to just use Google and go into the people also search and see the common phrases, keywords they use, and then you can create content on LinkedIn that answers those exact queries. And this will increase your chances of actually getting your content ranked when people search for it on LinkedIn. But there is something even better to this new algorithm change. This means that even a post that you wrote a year ago could continue to get impressions right now. This is amazing to get more engagement, to get more traction, and honestly, to get more from each single post you publish. So make sure you add this last algorithm hack to your stack so you can continue to get engagement, impressions, followers, and ideal buyers coming into your profile. And with the algorithm on your side, you just need a roadmap to add your next 10,000 LinkedIn followers over the next few months. So watch this video next for my exact roadmap to get there way faster.